What's up, guys? Just about that time to make another video again. My mom's funeral was on Tuesday, and it's kind of disappointing. You know, my grandfather went up to the minister who was going to conduct the whole service days ahead of time and said, the children are agnostic and atheist, and the mother is non-religious, but we understand you have to do a certain amount of Jesus, but can you please keep it at a minimum? And from my understanding, from what I was told by my grandfather, he said, sure, that's fine, I understand. Now, this guy had worked for my grandfather like 1,000 years ago, or whenever, a long time ago. And basically, what happened was the entire service, and I have it all recorded, and you're going to hear it in the next video, was, and sorry for that rattling, that's Casey down there in his collar. Basically, the whole service was, we know she's dead, but Jesus. And at a certain point, he called me out, and he was like, I know you're 18, and it took me until I was 30 years old until I found Jesus in my heart, and I was just like, shut the fuck up. I was just like, stop it. Just stop it. And then he wrapped it up, and I was pretty angry, because it's my mom. You know what I'm saying? I don't. Do I need a reason? Do I need to fucking justify myself, guys? Anyway, it's been a while. I've hardly even talked about it, but I think it's about time that I not only elaborate on it, but tell the whole story of that whole situation. And I'll do that in the next video. I have a bunch of shit recorded, and it'll be probably be a small project type thing. Anyway, this video is going to be about my acid trip. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, I decided ahead of time that when I did this, I wanted it to be 3 people. I wanted it to be myself, JoJo, and Erin. And Erin's a female friend of mine, and I feel like she could have used it, and I'm happy this all happened. Anyway, it was about 5 p.m. and we get back here, and we're staying at Mindy's place. Mindy, she used to live right up here, but she moved a couple blocks, about a block away. She lives in the same place, she lives in the same complex, but she moved about a block away. And we're all staying there for a little while, and JoJo and Erin decide to come back to my place. I give them the keys or whatever, and they come back to my place. Now, the keys are attached to my car keys. Now, I should have just got them off, but I was too lazy. So they came back here and they took their hits. And about 15 minutes later, I get back to the house and I took my hit, but then I remembered that I left my car back over at Mindy's place, so I grabbed the keys and I walked back over there. It's about 10 minutes in now or whatever, so nothing's really kicking in yet. Just a bad taste in your mouth. For those that don't know what it's like, here's an old Taco Bell thing. For those that don't know what it's like, it's a little bit smaller than this, but it's just a little piece of paper. It's cardboard paper, kinda, but it's just a little piece of paper. And then you just put it under your tongue, and you leave it there for a while. And it tastes bad. Not really bad, it's just bitter. I mean, it's cardboard. But that's just how you take it. Anyway, I'm about 10 minutes in, and I go and get my car, and I bring it back, and I park it in the back there, and I come back in, and it's about, I'd say it's about 7 o'clock now. Yeah, because we stayed at Mindy's for about an hour before we did anything, just settling down from the day. And so it's about 7, and we're just playing video games. Yeah, it's about 6:30 or 7. And we're playing video games in the living room, and we're starting to feel a little giggly. What I can best relate it to, and I did my best to If you go back a couple months, I made a video. It was a 2-part video, 2 or 3 parts, where I talked about how I desired to have this experience. Anyway, where was I? Shit. See, these are the times that I wish I was a person that edited my videos, but you guys don't want that. So fuck y'all. Anyway, fuck. Now I'm more. I was like, I almost. Oh, fuck. Okay, I need to stop talking. Where was I? We were doing good. We were doing good. Go back. We were in the living room playing video games, and stop. Moving on, and we were playing video games, and we started feeling giggly. And what I can best relate it to, well, oh yeah, what I was saying was I did my best to take note of a lot of this, and what I realized was that doesn't really matter, and I'll explain why none of it really matters later in the video. And there's probably be a couple parts. Anyway, so what I could best relate the giggly feeling to would be sort of, but a lot less intense, the sort of giggly feeling you get when you get nitrous at the dentist. You know, and you get, you know, before the high of it sets in, you get that uncontrollable giggling. It was like that, except less intense. We could sort of control it, and it was low pitched, and it wasn't a giggling that was firing back and forth and gaining because we were all in the same circle giggling. We weren't building off each other. It was just a low pitched sort of giggle thing. But we were just enjoying ourselves and just having some water or whatever, and playing some video games. And you know, the sun's starting to set down, and then I go into my room for a little while, and I start taking notes, and because I decided you know, things are about to start setting in, and it's probably time to start documenting that. And on top of the fact that I'm just, you know, I was feeling reclusive, so I just in here. I turn out the lights and everything, and then Mindy's friends come in. Now, as I was taking these moot notes that I didn't know they were going to be moot at the time, Mindy's friends come in, and it's Robert, who's a good guy, and Robert has a crazy story. I should tell you guys that story later. Anyway, Robert comes over, and it's his brother and his brother's son, who's a little bit, he's like 14, 15, whatever. He comes over, and we're all hanging out, and they know that we had taken acid. They know that they had known that we were on LSD, so they were nice about it, and they were just supportive. And now, there's not. Before I move on, let me tell you that there's not at any point during our experience of this. Not only is there no there was no hallucinations. I don't know where people get that shit from. I guess there's hallucinogenic acid somewhere. I guess that wasn't for us. We didn't hallucinate or anything. Again, we only took 1 hit each, but it lasted about 9 hours, the whole ordeal. But also, what are they gonna say? Get it back. Get it back. Lost it. Anyway, it'll come back to me. So we're oh, fuck it. There we go. At no point during this do you feel high. Do you feel? I mean, you feel a little woozy, but you don't feel high. Like when you smoke weed, you definitely feel high. You smoke weed and you're like, dude, I'm high. You know, you can feel it. You're high. You don't feel that. What it does is it takes your consciousness and it takes your brain and it plugs it into something. What that is, I don't know, but we're all plugged. Everybody who takes it is plugged into the same source, because you all have almost the same experience, and not in the vague way that's you know, you try to make it relate. It just is that way. So anyway, we're all sitting on the couch and we're playing video games, and the sun's starting to go down, and Mindy's friends come over, and I had just come back out of my room, so I'm on the couch with all them. and we're just talking, and then the euphoric effect started to set in as the sun was going down. Now, the euphoric effect was much like that of smoking an indica. For those that don't know, indica is one of the two types of weed. You have your indica and you have your indicas and you have your sativas. And the indicas are the ones that, you know, they push you into the ground. They're the ones you smoke and then play video games and then go to bed or whatever. They're the ones that they make you tired. They just push you down. It was much like the euphoric effect you get from smoking a good it was much like the euphoric effect you get from smoking a good sativa, minus the tired effects, minus the effects of the actual high of it. You know what I'm saying? It was just the euphoric effect. And I'm trying to make this I'm trying to get people who are completely sober people to understand that, but I feel as I go further throughout this, that's going to be harder and harder to do. Then you're just going to have to accept that. But trust me, the people who have done this are totally with me. So anyway, we're all hanging out for a while, and it started to get pretty intense. We're about an hour in now. We're about an hour, 2 hours in now, and it's about 7, 8 o'clock, and the sun's starting to go down. And it's almost dark out, and Mindy's friends are over. We're all hanging out, and it's suddenly me and Aaron in my room, and I was just like, dude, you're fucking beautiful, and not in the way that's like I'll put my penis in you. It was just like, holy shit, like, you're fucking beautiful, and it was crazy. I mean, I didn't say that. I just told her, like, you're beautiful. And she started crying, and that hit it for me. And something just went off in me, and I walked over into the living room, and I'm in my kitchen, and I'm just going through my fridge and stuff, and I just break down. I just broke down, and it was like, holy shit. I'm going through, like, the juices. I'm, like, I was looking at, like, my V8 smoothie shit. By the way, this is very good. I was, like, looking at this, and I was like, holy shit, the amount of shit that had to happen to make this happen in my fridge right now. Like, fruits grew organically somewhere. Like, life happened. And then somebody picked it and then put it through a whole bunch of shit and then added a whole bunch of other shit that we as humans amazingly got access to, like sugar, and like edible sugar, and fucking just mashed it all up into this plastic and put it in a supermarket so I could go buy, and it was just like so much to handle mentally. It was like, that is insane. And you gain so much appreciation. I'm gonna have to end this soon to start making the second part of this because I'm about to hit 15 minutes, but I just found myself breaking down, and I was just like, holy shit, there's so much that I'm not realizing. And I went in and I started telling JoJo about it, and he was just whatever. And he left, and he had smoked weed with them. And just to take note, I had talked with him a couple days later, and after he came back the next day, and he told me that didn't have much of an effect on top. They didn't mix. I mean, he was just high with the marijuana, and then he had the acid. They didn't mix. It was, you could tell that there was a difference. It was just two different substances, and you could tell. Anyway, moving on, which I'm gonna have to stop abruptly pretty soon. So let me just stop it now so I can just start the next video.